Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RSBANB Update Supplemental. I am Shane12088 here, and we have a light RSBANB Update Supplemental for you guys this week. This is a supplemental that is going to be primarily looking back at what we've done in the past and seeing where we want to go in the future. RSBANB Update Supplemental was started as a way for us to get a presence on YouTube and bring RSBANB Update to the YouTube audience and allow us to try out some interesting things that the full hour-long podcast doesn't really allow for in a week-to-week basis. So, with that being said, in just a minute I'm going to go over a little bit about where we've been and maybe about where we want to head in the future. So before we get too far down that track, I'd like to remind everybody that you can find our full episodes of RSBANB Update at update.rsbandb.com. And those release on Saturday for those of you guys interested. So head on over there on Saturdays or subscribe on iTunes, even better, and pull down the full episodes of RSBANB Update. So, Supplemental was started in the tail end of 2013, and it allows us to really bring you RSBANB Update in a quicker fashion. A bit of RSBANB Update that you can listen to in a pinch. Let's say you're just on RuneScape for a quick session, or you're on your way somewhere and you happen to pull up YouTube on your phone. You can just listen to the audio of Supplemental or watch the video in order to have a visual aid to something in RuneScape. So episodes are small, and that's what we like about this format. It allows us to do interesting things. We can be incredibly precise in this 5 to 10 minute time period, or we can offer up opinions that might lead to a wider discussion on the main RSBANB Update episodes. Key examples of this are being incredibly precise and telling you guys how to run air runes for profit, and going over the locations of the high-level woodcutting update, the Elder and Crystal Trees, when those came out later last year. It also allows us to offer opinions, such as the opinions that were recently offered on Combat and One of a Kind, the Dragon King quest. So we can do a whole variety of things with RSBANB Update Supplemental while still having a main discussion of RSBANB Update at the end of every week. And that's very interesting to us, and that's why we want to keep doing RSBANB Update Supplemental. We're definitely going to keep going in this direction, but we're at the point where we'd like to hear from you guys about what you think and what you want from RSBANB Update Supplemental. I've prepared a survey that you can find the link to in the video description. It's a Survey Monkey survey, so it's perfectly safe to fill out. We don't ask for any personal or identifying information. So I'll just run through the questions quickly as to what we're asking. So first things first, how long should a supplemental be? We've had some that were around 5 minutes long, some between 5 and 10, and of course more than a couple that were greater than 10 minutes long. So where's the sweet spot? Where do you guys prefer supplemental to fill in? Is it shorter, mid-range, or longer, as in greater than 10 minutes? Also, do you listen to the main RSBANB Update podcast at update.rsbandb.com, or are you purely a supplemental listener? That's interesting to us as well, because if you're only a listener to Supplemental, it doesn't really make sense for us to be promoting RSBANB Update so much without you listening fully to it, so we need to change one of those variables. Does what you hear on Supplemental make you more excited for our main show? So let's say you hear something, say pertaining to a recent combat update or the one-of-a-kind Dragon King quest. Does this make you more interested in hearing what we're actually going to talk about on that main show? Next, how quickly do you watch Supplemental after it's been released? Is it the same day, the next day, later in the week, or sometime after that? That's a fairly simple one. And the most important one that I see in this batch of questions that we put together is which type of supplemental is your favorite? Whether it be the technical information ones, the high-level woodcutting, air rune crafting, idea proposals, such as the one where we talked about filling out armor tiers, converting momentum into the legacy combat mode, opinion, what is a beta 138 versus 200, that sort of thing, or community opinions such as One of a Kind, where we had 101 Duck 1 on the show. Also, do you subscribe to Supplemental? This is important to know because it allows us to know whether or not, as soon as this goes out, what kind of immediate engagement we can expect back on your part. If you just found this show as a one-off, that is different than if you're a devout subscriber who will listen to it as soon as it appears in your feed. And finally, which features of RSBandB, our main website, do you use? We have lots of them. The forums, RuneWire, which is a microblog type Twitter type thing, our map, which is very nice, very fluid way of looking at the RuneScape map, the house designer, Grand Exchange portfolios, and of course our classic signatures and calculators. So if we knew which of those you use, that would also help us as well in tailoring which tools we use here and which ones we further highlight to show how you can use these within your daily RuneScape experience. So with that being said, I hope everybody will take the time to fill out the survey and give it a good thought as to where that we would like RSBanB Update Supplemental to go in the future, and we look forward to pursuing with your community engagement on this. And we'll see you this week for another episode of RSBanB Update.